Hello, my name is Philip Weston. I'm a project officer at Outdoor Recreation Northern Ireland, and I am working with Barney, Chris, and other colleagues on delivering the community trail element of C2C. I'm going to give you a brief insight into the Arney River Canoe Trail and the Cottage Lawn Canoe Step in Belcoo. For those that are not familiar with canoeing or with canoe trails, a canoe trail is an interesting or challenging stretch of water which offers public access for canoeists to paddle. It can use coastal waters, inland lochs, and rivers. The trail is indicated on a map showing its associated facilities such as jetties, slipways, car parks and toilets. A canoe trail is not necessarily shown as a line on a map and is not necessarily an A to B trip. Depending on your experience, time and abilities, it allows you to design your own day out or weekend away to take in what are often the best features of that stretch of water. Typical canoe trail users have experience of paddling and are normally self-led with their own or hired equipment. However, the trail and the associated access provides opportunities for private operators and guides to access and navigate the stretch of water safely and easily, thus creating greater opportunities for users to engage with the outdoors in ways that they may not have considered before. In Northern Ireland, we currently have 9 canoe trails spread across the province and using a variety of waters. You can choose to experience the tranquil and meandering River Blackwater Canoe Trail or brave the Atlantic swells on the North Coast Canoe Trail. Lough Erne Canoe Trail was the first trail we developed in 2005. This set off a chain of events towards developing the remainder of the canoe trails over the coming years. So it's nice to come back to this area, back to where we began, with an opportunity to develop a cross-border product like the Arney River Canoe Trail. A key component of the C2C programme is to develop community trails which will connect people to their local, built and natural heritage. Our community consultation process carried out during our community trail plan identified the need for increased access to the Arney River to allow communities to learn about and to be custodians of their waterways by developing the Arney River Canoe Trail. As you can see from the map, the trail is approximately 27 miles and will extend from Upper Lough MacNean through Lower Lough MacNean and down along the Arney River before entering Upper Lough Erne. The cross-border trail will establish 7 canoe access points. In Upper Lough MacNean, these are at Mina, Glenfarne, Black Lion Playground, before joining into the Belcoo River, where it passes through Cottage Lawn at Belcoo, and then onto the Arney River, where the sites are at Bohevney, Old Arney Bridge, and Rossdoney. From here, it will connect with the Lough Erne Canoe Trail, sharing access at Corrigan Shore and Bellaneleck. Portage will also be provided at the weir at the head of the Arney River. Detailed interpretive panel information on the natural and built heritage along the route will be provided to ensure that local cross-border communities and visitors to the river will have an enhanced knowledge and appreciation of the rich natural habitats and ecosystems, as well as the built heritage features of the Arney River and the wider water catchment area. Every bit of a canoe trail of this nature is dependent on the next. We therefore had to ensure, for example, in order for Cottage Lawn to be successful, that the weir downstream would be passable. Likewise, in order for Old Arney Bridge to be successful, we had to know that Rossdoney Quay would be usable as an access point. In the case of Upper Lough MacNean, access points were already established. However, on the Arney, there are currently no formal access points and limited public land. So a lot of work has gone into identifying appropriate locations for access. It's important to highlight that without the generosity of public landowners, including Fermanagh District Council, DFI Roads and Waterways Ireland, and private landowners, the route would not be possible. Barney has led on carrying out extensive consultation with private landowners to identify suitable access points which help to adequately close the gap and distances for access along the river. In some cases, the gap between the identified access points is quite large. However, there may be opportunities to close these gaps down in the future. Now, following the identification of the access points, we were able to start developing our concepts. And this has included developing designs and carrying out ecological assessments of each site. In addition, consulting with statutory consultees, including NIEA, Fermanagh District Council, Waterways Ireland, Rivers Agency, DFI, and Northern Ireland Water has been carried out. This helps to ensure that all agencies' concerns are heard and considered within the choice of location and design alongside our experienced engineers. In some cases, this has led to some options being considered and then removed due to various reasons, including ecological constraints and unsuitability of access. The proposal at Cottage Lawn is to develop a canoe step and associated vehicular parking. For those that aren't familiar with what a canoe step is, it's an ideal means to provide smooth and safe access to the water in locations with steep-sided or uneven banks. Canoe steps can take many shapes and sizes, as can be seen here in these photographs. In the case of Cottage Lawn, the proposed access is provided essentially by 4 wooden step platforms from the bank into the water on the Bellaneleck River, close to where it opens into Lower Lough MacNean. So where is the site? The proposed canoe step is located within Cottage Lawn, which is an amenity area in Bellaneleck on the shores of Lower Lough MacNean and on the shores of the Bellaneleck River. By way of orientation, the location of the canoe step is adjacent to the Bellaneleck Bridge on the northern side of the Bellaneleck River off the Sligo Road, and a number of factors have influenced the selection of this location. Whilst the majority of the site is owned by Fermanagh District Council, sections of Cottage Lawn, where it borders with Lower Lough MacNean on its western shore, are in private ownership, therefore preventing direct access to the loch. In addition, these lower reaches of the shoreline flood frequently, making it difficult to provide access that's adequate. In contrast, the selected location is publicly owned all the way to the water's edge, and the river bank is higher, therefore reducing the risk of flooding. The location was also selected as it would have minimal impact on the remainder of the trail system and usage of Cottage Lawn. Other options looked at would dissect the site, thus impacting existing users. The proposal therefore creates minimal disturbance to the existing open green space that doesn't take away from the overall experience and has minimal interference to the existing on-land recreation walking trail system and furniture. But key to its selection was also its position along the canoe trail to provide access to Bellaneleck and Black Lion to allow users to avail of many facilities, including shops, pubs and accommodation. So this is the overview of the canoe step. It's quite a long canoe step and extends from north to south off the Sligo Road onto the Bellaneleck River. I'm just going to break it down into 3 sections just for a bit more detail. So this is the northern end and is the access point of the Sligo Road. So the canoe step can be accessed from the existing maintenance entrance on the Sligo Road. To facilitate vehicles turning towards the river and heading south, the entrance will be widened and a small length of the existing walking trail diverted, and 2 picnic tables relocated to provide sufficient width for the access lane. Access is from a straight section of the Sligo Road with good sight lines and a 30 mph speed limit. From here, a bitmap lane will take vehicles and canoes close to the water's edge where they can turn and return to the 4 parking bays to park. Access, parking and turning is currently limited to cars or small vans. This is due mainly to the space limitations. However, we will be revisiting this to see if trailers could be brought into the area without having an adverse impact on the surrounding environment. Users, once they have got out of their car, can then access the canoe steps and the Bellaneleck River via a short gravel path leading from the lane and into the river. For context, this is the old Arney Bridge canoe step, located further east along the Arney River, close to the village of Arney. I've included the canoe step as it shows you a slightly different layout. This is currently going through planning and has funding in place already from Catchment Care. It's a more compact site which is accessed from the Mulnavey Road via a short gravel path, which is accessed adjacent to the start of the old Arney Bridge. This particular site was made available through the generosity of the private landowner. Now the plan shows that more steps and grading works are required, and this is due to the steeper bank. However, overall, the amount of land take is quite minimal, and there's no requirement for new parking as there is already an existing lay-by parking to the south, therefore minimal impact to the surrounding area. So what are the next steps? The aim of public consultation is to take on board comments relating to the proposed development at Cottage Lawn, which is very much at concept stage. This will then allow us to refine the concept and agree the final design through consultation with the relevant statutory consultees. Each canoe step needs to go through the planning process and be agreed with Rivers Agency. In the intervening period, we will be looking at funding for each location to ensure the delivery of the canoe trail, as the development of the trail is wholly dependent on funding and may therefore be required to be delivered in phases when funding becomes available. We have a strong vision and have received good feedback to date. The canoe trail will tweak and may well change as we progress, even from what it is today. There's still plenty of work to do, but we're comfortable at this stage now to allow us to share our ideas. Hopefully that provides you with an insight into the canoe step and the canoe trail and overall proposals at Cottage Lawn, and we look forward to receiving your comments and suggestions.